Assalamu alaikum students, I hope everybody is doing well. In previous videos, we have revised translation as well as question answers. Today we are going to start with the exercise. On page number 66, we have this vocabulary portion. Part A, we have encircle the option for the underlined word that relates to the text. MCQ number 1, we have we are a nation. He affirmed 3 years before the birth of Pakistan, and the word affirmed is underlined. So we have to find out the meaning of this underlined word. Options are told, said, emphatically, broke in, and the right answer is B, said emphatically. MCQ number 2, we have our own distinctive outlook of life. Distinctive is underlined. Options are distinguish, powerful, wavering, and the right answer is A, distinguish. MCQ number 3, we have keep up your morale. Options are wealth, fortitude, voice, and the right answer of this underlined word morale is fortitude. Number 4, we have do not be afraid of death, and the word afraid is underlined. Options are attended to, scared, squared up, and the right answer is B, scared, of the underlined word afraid. Number 5, we should face it bravely to save the honor of Pakistan and Islam. The word face is underlined, and we have to find out the synonym of this word. Options are repair, cope with, correct. Right answer of this underlined word face is cope with. Part B, we have consult a thesaurus and find the synonyms of the following words. So words have been given to us. We would have to find out the synonyms of these words. First word that we have morale, which means mental attitude or fortitude, voyage, journey, ambition, aim or aspiration, nomenclature, naming system, identity, individuality or personality, distinctive, distinguish, emergence, to raise, struggle, effort, numerous, many, strong, according to the context, having moral or intellectual power, ideology, doctrine or a concept. Part C, we have write the antonyms of the following words. Synonym means meaning, antonym means opposite of the word. First word we have confidence, and the antonym of this word confidence would be distrust, honor, dishonor, belief, disbelief, separate, joint, unity, disunity, political, non-political. Part D, we have use the following idioms in sentences. I am just going to explain the meaning of these idioms. And dear students, you are going to make sentences of these idioms on your notebooks by yourself. First we have bits and pieces. कई किस्म की छोटी छोटी चीजें. Man in the street, आम आदमी. Raising spirit, हौसला अफजाई करना. Pass through, गुजरना. Fall a prey, शिकार होना. And the second one, pass through, we always use in the context मुश्किलात से गुजरना. And then next on page number 67, we have this denotation and connotation that we have discussed before, but let's discuss them again in this unit as well. First of all, we have what is a denotation. So this denotation is a dictionary meaning, or you may say that the literal meaning that we cannot change, but the connotative meaning would be the contextual meaning, or the meaning of the word that has been given to the word by the society. Let's read the definition. Denotation is the literal or dictionary meanings of the words that we have discussed before. They have given us examples as well. For example, the word snake in a dictionary will have the denotative meaning scaly and legless. The denotation therefore refers to the most basic or specific meaning of a word. So we can say that denotation is the dictionary meaning or a literal meaning, and connotation is Connotation, on the other hand, refers to the idea that is suggested by or associated with a word. The connotative meaning of a word exists together with a denotative meaning. The connotations for the word snake could include evil or danger. It has the connotation of someone who cannot be trusted. So, connotation is the contextual meaning that we derived through the text. Connotation can be positive or negative. For example, the word thin can have a positive connotation, or smart and a negative connotation of skinny. So we can say that the connotation has further two categories, positive connotation and negative connotation. That depends on the context in which we are going to use the specific connotation. Part E we have, for each of the words given in the column, give one similar meaning, denotation, and one negative or and positive connotation of the word. Here we have given a columns. We are going to write down denotative meaning, positive connotation as well as negative connotation, as if one they have done for us. Fat, denotative meaning would be overweight, positive connotation would be plump, and negative connotation would be obese. Second word we have notorious. Denotative meaning of this word would be defamed, positive connotation would be famous, and the negative connotation would be ignominious. Third we have spinster. Denotative meaning would be maiden, positive connotation would be virgin, negative connotation would be old unmarried woman, and fourth we have stern. Denotative meaning would be severe, positive connotation unbored, negative connotation harsh. Number 5 we have proud. Denotative meaning would be haughty, positive connotation would be self-respecting, and negative connotation is arrogant. Number 6 we have shrewd. Denotative meaning is wise, positive connotation intelligent, and negative connotation is cunning. Number 7 we have economical. Denotative meaning is practical, positive connotation money saving, and negative connotation is stringy. Last we have fail. Denotative meaning be unsuccessful, positive connotation is practicing, and negative connotation is disappoint. Now we are going to move towards the grammar portion on page number 69. First of all we have adverbs. A word that modifies the meaning of a verb, an adjective, or another adverb is called an adverb. Adverbs usually come in the following positions in a sentence. So they have given the position of the adverb in the sentence as well. First of all, that comes adverb of manner, then adverb of place, and then adverb of time. But in the definition, they have written three things: that adverb modifies verb, adjective, and another adverb. So how is that possible? Let's have an example. In first example, I have written he sleeps soundly. The word soundly is an adverb and that is modifying the verb. And in second example, we have she is very tall. So tall is an adjective and very is an adverb. So secondly, we have in the definition that adverbs modify adjective. So in this condition, that rule is satisfied because this adjective is being modified with this adverb. Third example we have she is very much tall. So in previous example, we have learned that this very is an example of an adverb and much is also an adverb. So in third example, we can say that this much is being modified with this very. So the third condition, that another adverb is also modified with this adverb, is satisfied. Secondly, we have infinitives. The clause that starts with to is called an infinitive clause. In some of the clauses, we do not use the word to, that called as an bare infinitive. They have given us two examples. You are free to go to your masjid. To go is an example of infinitive. And in second example we have he made the people work. That is also the example of infinitive, but that is called as an bare infinitive. The words given in bold have no subject. We say that to go is the infinitive of the verb. Sometimes to is used as an example A. Sometimes infinitive without to is used as an example B. And to always takes the stem form of the verb, or you may say that first form of the verb. Now we have gerunds. A gerund is that form of the verb which ends in ing and has the function of a noun. So we can say that gerund functions as a noun. So the question is, what is the difference between present participle and gerund? Because both ends at ing. Present participle works as an adjective and gerund works as a noun. That is the difference between both of them. As if they have given us example, painting is a good fun. So this painting is an example of gerund because it's working as a noun. Number B we have I like painting. Here again painting is working as a noun. In example A, painting was a subject, and in example B, it's working as an object. Number C we have my favorite hobby is painting. In these sentences, painting does the work of a noun forming the subject, object and complement. So in example C, it's working as a complement. Now we have conditionals, type 3, which means unfulfilled condition. Conditional sentences are always dependent sentences. They are always dependent on one another. Conditionals of this type say that something did not happen because a certain condition was not fulfilled. So this condition always remain unfulfilled, and that's the methodology that we use for the condition type number 3. If, past perfect, and second clause would be taking, would have, and the third form. Now on page number 70 we have part A. Find the kinds of adverb in the unit. First of all we have adverb of manner that answers the question how. Examples are clearly, swiftly. Number 2 we have adverb of place that answers the question where. Examples are under, path. Number 3 we have adverb of time that answers the question when. Today, tomorrow, that is the example of adverb of time. Number 4 we have adverb of frequency that answers the question how often. So daily, always, often are the examples of adverb of frequency. Last we have adverb of degree that answers the question how much. Much, very are the example of adverb of degree. Part B we have write 5 sentences using adverbs of manner, place and time in the correct sequence. Dear students, that is going to be your homework that you are going to do on your notebooks. Part C we have make sentences using the following verbs followed by the infinitives. Saw, promised, wanted, began, asked, told, decided. So you are going to use these verbs that are going to follow by the infinitives. For example, I saw him play. So play is an example of infinitive, that is a bare infinitive. So that's how you are going to make sentences of these given verbs. Part D we have complete these phrases by ending gerunds and use them in sentences. Good at painting, accused of deceiving, sad at losing, tired of working. So I have completed the phrases. You may use other words as well. After that you are going to make sentences of these given phrases. Part E we have complete the following conditionals. Number 1 we have if you had studied hard. So we have to complete this condition. If you had studied hard, you would have passed the exams. And in the place of would, you may use could as well. Number 2, we have, if you had come to me, I would have helped you. Number 3, if I had seen him, I would have met him. This is what I have completed according to me. You may change the sentences by yourself. Part F, we have, write 10 sentences using the past perfect tense. Past perfect tense that we have done before. I'm just going to put the link of past perfect tense in the description box, and after that you are going to write down 10 sentences of past perfect tense by yourself. And dear students, if you have any query, kindly comment down below. Allah Hafiz.